Hello, everyone. Hi, hello. Thank you for joining. We're going to wait a few minutes for more people to join. So we will probably start at 3 past, whichever hour it is in your time zone. I was
You're
muted. I
muted, Katja.
apologize. We have a few people who have already arrived, but we're going to wait a little bit longer for more. Maybe another minute. Okay, I think we could begin. I believe more people will arrive as we go, but I will take a few minutes with an introduction, so hopefully they won't miss much substance. Welcome to everybody who has come. Thank you very much for joining us today. This is a webinar about student life across 3 countries at Forward College. It's a very excited side of this university that a lot of our applicants are very attracted to, and a lot of our students, if not all of them, very much love, including myself. So as a brief introduction, my name is Kasia. It's very nice to meet you all. I am an alumna of Forward College, as well as currently I work in admissions and in recruitment here. We are joined for this webinar by our 3 campus managers, Eduardo, Catherine, and Spencer, and Madalena, our student ambassador. Indeed, we have dedicated campus managers across all 3 of our campuses, and they are going to walk you through each of those campuses individually. You will find out that their responsibility is really to take care of all of the operations on the campus. They're the first point of contact for all students' concerns and issues. Our lovely campus managers, they look after student life, student clubs, organization of events. What do they not do? So indeed, Madalena will talk about student life from her own perspective as a current student, and I will be hosting. Maybe we can. Yes, thank you. So indeed, typically, I think it's best to summarize Forward College as consisting of 4 very important pillars. We are very concerned about the quality of academics. We focus on academic excellence, so indeed provide world-class bachelor's degrees. Our teaching looks different than in a lot of other universities, traditional universities. It's more interactive. It happens in small classes. We also offer a leadership program, leadership skills being very important for young people who want to learn to make change in the world and be impactful. And the fourth dimension of Forward is the fact that it's highly international in two main ways. Firstly, its cohorts are coming from all over the world. We not only have students from Europe, but all other continents as well. And then secondly is that students at Forward embark on a 3-year expedition across 3 countries. So indeed, as a student at Forward, you do not stay in one place for all of your bachelor's degree. Instead, you begin your studies in Lisbon, the capital of Portugal. Then you move onwards to Paris in France, and you spend your 3rd year in Berlin in Germany. And maybe we could look at the next slide. Thank you so much. So I think the order of these 3 cities is very much purposeful. Indeed, Lisbon makes it very easy for a young person who's away from their home, away from their parents, for possibly a lot of times the first time in their lives to assimilate, to adjust to the idea that they're independent. I like to think that Lisbon really hugs you as a place. Its climate is very friendly. The Portuguese culture is extremely pleasant. Our students have a lovely time as they adjust to their newfound independence. And then for the 2nd year, they get to experience the vibrancy of Parisian international student life, living on a huge international campus. You'll find out more details about this. And then in the 3rd year, where our learning space is in a co-working space that we share with many companies, international companies who have their teams based in that building. The purpose is for students really to start focusing on planning their next steps, whether it's a master's, whether it's a career. Indeed, everybody, as they approach the end of university, wants to refine their next steps and their plans for the future. And the 3rd year is indeed about finding this direction. And being surrounded by a professional work ecosystem definitely helps with that. So why do we do it this way? It's very important that young people today who want to be international change makers are capable of building bridges across different cultures, languages, and contexts. A lot of our students emphasize that moving so much has really fostered their adaptability, a skill that they value very much. And moving across these 3 cities also helps develop other essential skills for a globalized world. Now, Forward College executes this expedition in a very immersive manner. All the students from different nationalities across the globe live together, and thus they form a very close-knit community. It's a fantastic experience. You get to learn about all these cultures in very much depth. Then we facilitate language classes in all the 3 countries. Students learn Portuguese, then they learn French and German for a year each, with native speakers and in active classes. We encourage students to collaborate with local NGOs and companies as they carry out their leadership projects. We also encourage them and facilitate interaction with other local universities and organize a lot of field trips and cultural activities. So, for example, I've traveled all across Portugal with Forward, and it's been very valuable. Every time that a student arrives to a new destination, they begin their year with at least a week-long induction period where they get to immerse themselves in the new location together with fellow students and staff that they're going to spend an entire year with. It's a week filled with fun and team exercises. So please, I'm going to pass on the mic to Eduardo, our Lisbon campus manager.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kasia. So, as she said, Lisbon hugs you. So that's when I really like that sentence, because I feel it's something like that. But let me show you. Why Lisbon? So in terms of lifestyle, we can say that it has a really cool vibe. So uh, at the same, so it's not a big city like a big capital, but at the same time it has everything. So it's kind of a mix between a small town charm and a big city energy. So it has this kind of balance between things. It's coastline, so for example, in the Lisbon area, you have an incredible beach. It's only 20 minutes away, or even 15, which is great. And all over the country, you have this amazing coastline with beaches from north to south, which is that you can, of course, enjoy while you are here. In terms of weather, as you probably know, we have a great climate. So most of the year, I would say, for example, from this point, April until October, November, there's sun pretty much all the time, so which is great. We are known by our warm hospitality. I'm sure that Kasia can confirm that as well. So we would like to receive everyone. Everyone is really welcome to Portugal, and who comes here really feels that. It's affordable. So comparing to other capitals in Europe, you can have like a high quality of life without spending too much. Location is so Lisbon in this case is very central, so you can travel around Portugal really easily. In terms of opportunities, also important. So it has become really trendy, Lisbon, these days, and it's a hub for innovation and tech. So many things are happening here in Lisbon throughout the year, and especially I could highlight, for example, the Web Summit that happened around October, November, which is one of the or I think it's the biggest tech summit, tech event all over the world. So it's a great opportunity for you to meet people, to extend your network, which is great. So many things are happening here. In terms of facilities, let me show you. So this is a map of Lisbon city center. On the orange dots, you can see where our learning centers are located. So they are really close. I'll show in the next slide. So they are right downtown in the city center of Lisbon. On the blue dot, you can see the student residence and our co-working space. So between the learning centers and the place where you're going to live, the Shior student residence, it's a 20-minute journey by metro, a straight line, so no changes. It's very convenient. And in the same building of the student residence, you have the forward co-working space that I will show you in a few slides. It's a space exclusive for our students, and they use it a lot. So whether it's to study or for events or just to be together, so it's a great space, and it's very close. It's in the same building of the student residence. So this 20-minute ride is really convenient and quite easy. So the commute is really simple and fast and quick. Learning centers. This is a photo zoom, a zoom in of the Lisbon center, the old city center. Between one learning center and the other, it's an 8-minute walk. So it's very convenient. In the morning, you might have classes in Soriano Learning Center. In the afternoon, you might have in Flores. It's very convenient, and you are right in the city center, so you have everything. So you will, I'm sure you will like it. The first learning center is Flores Learning Center. This one, as you can see, it has like this outside area. As I told you, fortunately, we have, so the sun is always, or pretty much always shining, so you can go outside and just play ping pong or be together, study, have lunch in the outside area. This is a meditation room, so in every learning center we have a meditation room, which is great, and students, they use it a lot. So in between classes, they just go there, relax a bit, they read. Sometimes they even sleep for a bit, so they can recharge. So this is an example of one of our classrooms. They are not big. As you probably know, we have an average of 15 students per class. So it's a small size classroom. And the tables, as you can see, they are pretty much, you can play with them. So they are very dynamic. They can do groups. They can, be all together because there are different dynamics during class. And it might happen that you are divided in groups or be all together. So this is just an example of a classroom. Then we have the other learning center, Soriano, the biggest one. Here in this photo, you can see the student lounge. It's very spacious. It has a lot of natural light. Students are here all the time. They study. We do events here. We have the guest speakers here as well. Very modern, but at the same time with, traditional, but at the same time with modern touches, with a modern approach. This is the terrace. It's an amazing terrace where students just hang out, or they have lunch there. We have events there as well. So we already, for example, during induction, we had a rock concert here. So stuff like that. So it's an amazing space with a lot of, since we have the sun, it helps a lot. So students use it a lot as well. The other meditation room. This one is even more spacious. As you can see, it's a very zen place that exactly for you to recharge. Here is one of the spaces that students use to study or to work in group. This is the entrance of the Soriano Learning Center. One of the other rooms used by students to work in group. And two examples of classrooms. As you can see, it's more or less the same as in Flor's Learning Center, but I really like the one on the right. It's very, traditional. It has all the, traditional tiles from Lisbon. It's an amazing room. Then we can proceed to the student residence. As I told you, this is 20 minutes away from the learning centers. We definitely, we have this partnership with Shior Student Residence. You can stay there, or if you prefer, you can, live elsewhere, so in a private accommodation. But we definitely recommend you to stay in Shior Student Residence because, and we have been seeing this in the last few years. So more than 90% of our students, even maybe 95, they live in Shior. Why? And we definitely recommend because we feel that integration this way is much easier because it's their first year in Lisbon. They are far from home. Integration in the first few months, it's not always easy. So you have this support. So we are here to support, but since you are living with your colleagues as well, you have this, that network of support in the student residence that is really important for your integration here in Lisbon. And of course, the facilities are really, really, really great, really modern. This is an example of one of the rooms. There are different types. Again, in this case, a lot of natural light, which is great for you to study. Kitchen. In terms of kitchens, you have one kitchen for every 8 students, which is very comfortable, I would say. The kitchen is equipped, so you have like a small locker room where you can store your belongings, your food, and it's a great space, and students use it a lot, to bond, especially, so that they cook. But at the same time, they are together. They talk about forward, and not only forward, about life in Lisbon, life in general. So it's really a great space, and students, we know that they use it a lot to bond. This is the co-working space that I mentioned. This is in the same building as the student residence. So the student residence, it's not exclusive for forward, even though most of our students live there. But there are other students from different universities. But this space here, the co-working space, is exclusive for our students. Okay, so only for our college students can be here, and they use it to study. We use it to do events. So it's an amazing space. And again, really spacious with a lot of natural light, which is important for you to study. Um, I think this is my last slide, just for you to have an idea of the cost of living here in Lisbon. Um, Again, it's one of the capitals in Europe that are most affordable, more affordable. So in terms of the cost of the renting a room or the student residence in the last few years has been increasing a lot, but still it's still very competitive comparing to other capitals. So in the student residence, the room starts on 750 euros. Public transportation, it's 30 euros. This is a fixed cost. So with this public transportation pass, you can ride the metro, the boat, the train, the tram. So pretty much everything. So it's very affordable, and you can ride pretty much everything. Grocery shopping. So I would say around 300 euros. Um, Meal on average in an average restaurant around 15 euros. And yeah, nightclub, of course, maybe this is interesting for you as well. So and from between 10 to 15 euros you can enter a nightclub. um, okay, we still have this, we still have a couple of slides. Okay, sorry. um, so your first week set forward, for you to have an idea. On the 4th of September, we always organize a parents Q&A. This is important because usually students, they arrive here with their parents in the first days, so you can go and buy stuff for your room, sheets, all those things. So they come here, and we take that opportunity to organize an event for them, to where they can ask all their questions to our senior team. And also there is a cocktail that usually they like a lot. They like it a lot because they network with each other. They ask all the questions they have to us. So tell your parents. So on the 4th of September, we will have this parents Q&A. On the 6th, usually on a Sunday, we have the students meet and greet. It's the first informal meet and greet for you to know your colleagues, this first contact. Then induction weeks start. Really important. We definitely, it's one of the most important weeks of the whole year, because it's during these 2 weeks in Lisbon. We organize it during 2 weeks, so it's a let's say 50% fun and 50% academic. So 50% for you to know how we teach here at Forward and all what's related to that. But at the same time, it's very important for you to bond and to know each other. And it's a lot of fun, because we organize, for example, the rock concert, as I told you. In the very final day of induction, we go to the beach, we do a yoga class, we have a surf lesson, there is a tour around Lisbon, so lots of fun. And I'm sure you will enjoy it a lot. And it's very important in terms of integration for you to know your colleagues. And on the 21st of September, we start classes. Some example of photos. So in the surf lesson, that I mentioned during induction, on the left top photo. And for example, on the right bottom photo, we have the Model United Nations that students organize. It's fully student-led, and they organize it every year, and it's an amazing event. To finalize, maybe the one in the center top, this is the rock concert that I mentioned. So in the terrace, we have a rock band that delivers a concert here during one of the evenings. And that's pretty much it. And I'll pass the ball to Catherine. Thank you very much.
Eduardo.
Thanks, Eduardo.
Thank you.
So you will, in year 2, pass from the warm embrace of Lisbon to the City of Lights, beautiful, chic, Haussmannian Paris. So Eduardo, yes. Why Paris? Paris, everybody loves for its food. Obviously, it's easy to gain 5 kilos in Paris. because of all of the lovely desserts, which you see a few of them on the top right here. But there's also a counterbalance. There's an amazing sports offering where we're at here in Paris. So, you can try and keep that weight more or less in check if you work on it. But it's also a really great university experience. As Kasia had said, in Lisbon, it's very warm and embracing. And in Paris, you start to expand and grow more. It becomes much more of a university experience. You're surrounded by a lot of different university students, researchers, and then, of course, the City of Lights itself, which is full of culture and events. It's very historically rich, as you know, but it's also impregnated in everyday life. So the photo on the bottom right is actually one of the metro stations inside Paris, where on the wall you've got a mural which is about the storming of the Bastille, the revolution in France, about getting rid of the monarchy and becoming a republic. So you have all of this history that's just really into the daily life as well. Also, it's got, some of the best museums in the world, at least the most famous. You can go and see the Mona Lisa, which the French call La Joconde, not to be confused. They are identical. And the museums are almost all free for students. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to run around and get all of that creative inspiration and see all this beautiful art. It's also extremely good on transportation. Like Eduardo said, you can get an annual pass, which is a fixed rate, and you can have access to all the transportation. The way it's set up here, the students don't necessarily need it as much. So some students do a pay-as-you-go scheme where it's $250 for each train ride, or also some students just walk to the various locations. Some will take bikes and other things like that. So it's also very easy to travel throughout France and throughout the world. So, this is kind of a recap. You've got the culture and lifestyle. So you've got the Louvre, you've got the Opéra Garnier. If I know that some students occasionally were able to click really, really fast and get tickets, last minute student price tickets to see operas. You've got the sites and activities within Paris itself, but also we've now had a tradition. Each year a class decides on an outing, of professional outings. So this year we had a trip out to the OECD. Madalena, I think you were there as well. And last year there was a trip to a luxury company called Chaumet. So that's something I'm looking forward to see what next year's trip will be as well. Ford College, we're actually in that circle that's kind of to the bottom of the screen. Quite often this scares people. They say, oh, it's not the center of Paris. Oh, what will we do? Oh, I want to be in the center, in the middle of everything. It is in the middle of everything. Your 15-minute train ride direct up to Notre Dame. You're 30 minutes away from the Eiffel Tower. I've also had a lovely, very leisurely stroll through Paris with my cousin and their children, where we walked basically from Cité U, which is the Parisian word for the campus, up past the catacombs, went through the Luxembourg Gardens, through the Latin Quarter, and got to Notre Dame in about 2 hours. So, and it was very leisurely and beautiful, wonderful experience. So you are in the middle of Paris. It's just all in your head if you think you're not. So CITU is how the Parisians call the Cité Internationale Universitaire de Paris. We shorten it to CIUP. So sometimes you'll hear CIUP, sometimes CTU. This is where we have all of our classes and the students also live. So we bring it all much more concentrated. And that means that our students can roll out of bed and within 10 minutes be in the classroom, maybe not looking their best if that's how long it took them, but it is possible. It's also very, very international. The entire concept is about having an international experience. So there are people from all over the world, 150 nationalities. It's a huge complex, but it's a big park. So it doesn't feel stony. It's a very big park with lots of different buildings. Each building is run by a different country and has a different vibe to it. So you can go to the Argentina house and speak some Spanish if you want, or go to the Danish house if you want to go over there, Mexican house, etc. It's the second biggest park in all of Paris. And like I said, it's got an amazing sports facilities. There's also some music studios that can be rented. And it has the advantage of you don't have to deal with finding a place, dealing with landlords, paying for all of the bills. It's just a wonderful, easy experience. It's also an extremely luxurious isn't the right word. We're very privileged because we are the only school that has bachelor's level students living here. Otherwise, it's exclusively for masters and above. So doctorates, researchers, that's who's on the campus. So we're very, very lucky to have this agreement. So here's a photo of the library on the campus where you can go in and use it. It's free for all of the residents. There's 2 gymnasiums. I believe this is one of the 2. There's also like a tatami, there's fencing, there's dance classes, there's a tennis courts, there's a football field. So lots and lots of different facilities. Swimming pool, almost forgot that. That's directly in the building. It's 3 floors underneath me right now. There's an orchestra. So if you're talented enough, you might be able to join the Cité's orchestra. Otherwise, it's also possible to create your own music groups and practice and have some concerts as well. I think currently we have 2 students that are playing in the orchestra here. This is a picture of the main entryway to the building, and you'll see at the very end, it's hard to read, but it says theater. There's a public theater as well in this building that has shows going on throughout the year. It can be circus, it can be music, it can be dance. So lots of different things happening there. And behind me, as I look in that picture, is a canteen as well. That's for students with really cheap food. That isn't really all that bad, I have to say. Madalena, you'll have to let me know. Kasia, it might not be the same as in your day. I don't know. But
I think it's been a bit bland. It was a bit bland, but I think it's a student's duty to eat bland food at some point. It's good. It's really good and very affordable.
Yeah, it's quite good. And here we're basically standing in that entryway looking out to the entrance to the entire complex. And on the left side of this picture is actually student residences. We have quite a few students who are living. I had about a dozen students living in this building right now. And through the archways just on the other side, you've got the tram and you've got the train station so that you can go straight into Paris. So very, very convenient for transportation as well. As far as the Learning Center itself, we have several different rooms here. So this is New Bar, which Madalena was in a little bit ago. It's a student space where they can study, work in small groups, just use it as they need to with some coffee and a little microwave and things. This is one of our classrooms. So one of our colleagues just jumped down there the other day and took a picture of the students while they were in class. So you can see it in action there. This is the one that is just underneath it, Basualdo. So same, the students were starting class shortly and getting ready there. As far as where you would be living while staying here, on the next slide, we have on the top 3 are the houses that the students are living in this year. The one on the left, Dutch de la Meurthe, is actually the very first building that opened at CIUP 100 years ago. Students are living here, but only in the renovated rooms. So it's actually quite modern, clean, and good. Then we have on the bottom, there are 2 houses that our students have lived in the past. And currently we're looking at potentially using one of the rooms in the Cambodia house on the bottom left for the future to host different events. So still in negotiation on that. Shh, top secret for the moment. No, I'm kidding. It isn't, but we're working on that as well. So that might be part of our learning center in the future. As far as costs, Paris is more expensive than Lisbon, so you really should plan on 15,000 a year. Everything's a little bit more. Housing is definitely quite a bit more, whereas the other things are a little bit more. It can cost more to eat, especially if you are a vegan or vegetarian it's possible. If you are vegan, though, you can't really eat at the canteen here, or if you have special needs, Paris is not the best for that. But it's okay, you can manage it. And you have, yeah, the public transportation I talked about a little bit ago already. And then afterwards, it's really up to you on how much you want to go out, have your coffee, eat out, doing different activities. And some of our photos, so we have, like a boat tour to see the Paris by water. There's a photo of last year during the winter. I went out ice skating with some of our students who were in town. End of year celebration, the photo on the bottom in the center, that we had a nice volleyball game, and there's a guy in the middle with white tennis shoes. That's actually our president, Boris Valbom, playing volleyball with the students. And then we also on the bottom right have the very first of our annual outing to the Versailles for Techno Light Fountain Show that we do each year in September. And now I hand it over to Spencer for Berlin.
Thank you, Catherine. It's always very exciting for me to hear you talk about Paris. You make me fall in love with it each time I hear you talk about it. And then after that, though, the next part of the journey comes to Berlin. I will go quite quickly. I want to make sure we have some time for your questions, although I could talk all night about this incredible city. It's a very, compared to the other two cities, you'll find Berlin is very open. There's a lot of space. It's also very relaxed. So if you go to the next slide, Eduardo. Um, in Berlin, you'll find fantastic scenery, both urban scenery and also natural scenery. You're surrounded by lakes and water. And I find in Berlin, it's very relaxed to the point that you never see somebody running to catch a train or to get to an appointment or something. People move slowly at their own pace. And what's unique about Berlin is that it's a very historical city. But the history that's shaped the city is very recent history, and it's still writing the story of Berlin as you live here. So you'll start to see when you come to Berlin a city that's still figuring out what it is and what it will become. So it's very exciting to be here. Now, when we come to the Berlin Learning Center, this Learning Center is designed to do two things at the same time. One, it's the capstone of your forward journey. It's the third year of your classes. Things get really intense, really challenging to keep up with the submissions, with the exams, and all the work to be done. But also, it's about the second part of the Learning Center is it's about setting you up for what comes next, whether that's work or master's programs. So for that purpose, we've picked the CIC Learning Co-work building. As you can see, it's a huge facility. It's 14,000 square meters on 5 floors, including a cinema, an on-site restaurant and cafe, lots of different types of areas to study, to work, to network, and of course to have class. What's also great about CIC is it's a global network of co-working, so you can also join their other facilities if you're there traveling to the other locations. So on the next slide, a bit of where it's located. This is a very zoomed in photo, as was Paris. We are also very much in the center of the city. We are the green dots down on the right, and these blue dots are a few of the residences, which I'll get to. And then on the next slide, we always get asked where was the wall, and as you can see, that's the building behind. So the Berlin Wall was located directly at the door of where we're located now. So history is literally at the doorstep when you come out of the space. So a bit about CIC. It is home to more than 70 companies, universities, incubators, foundations, startups, solopreneurs, corporations. It's a very diverse environment to study in. More than 1,000 people are here every single day. And CIC also hosts events every single week, which bring in another 200 to 2,000 visitors every single week. So it's an absolute landmark within the city and the innovation cycle here. These are some of our co-work areas where you can study. More co-work spaces. Every floor has kitchen with free coffee and snacks throughout the day. Also a great place to meet up and socialize. More quiet meeting rooms if you're going to get together with the team to work on a project. This is our on-site canteen and cafe, which also offers great vegan food. So for veganers, you have lots to look forward to when you come to Berlin. And a glimpse at some of the event spaces. But I also want to show you a bit more of what the campus looks like when it's in action on a few of these other slides. Here's our cinema. Here's one of the Forward College rooms. so it's both a lounge area and also a classroom. And then we use this room to also host our own events where students can do demonstrations of prototypes that build during PBL projects. And we open up the events to the business community. This is one of the co-work areas that's just completely been dominated by forward students. They take it over and kind of chase out the other professionals in the building. Sometimes Boris Volbaum, our founder, will come through for presentations to the business community as well. Then our students love taking part of the weekly networking events, and also using them to demonstrate the projects and the research work that they are doing to the business innovation community. These are all forward students at our events. So residences in Berlin, we have multiple options. We changed the approach from Paris because at this point in time in third year, you're a bit more independent, so you can pick a residence that works for you. Some of our residences are a bit further outside the city in a more quieter areas. Others are directly the city center, right at the bottom of the TV tower and the world clock. The point is though that they're all quite accessible by bicycle or public transport to campus. Um, You'll find the cost of living in Berlin is it's cheaper than Paris, so you can recover some of those costs if you spent too much on beautiful pastries and nice cheese. But it will be a bit more expensive though than Lisbon. It's right in the middle. But we still find that Berlin is quite affordable for students. It's a very popular student city. So a glimpse into student life here. We do excursions out into the city, also hosting events on campus. And students also like to get together on campus to put together cultural events or build gingerbread houses and venture out into the city again to explore what Berlin has to offer. So that's a bit about Berlin. Now going back over to the overview of the three countries.
I believe that's me.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Madalena. I'm from Portugal and I'm currently doing the double bachelor's with politics and international relations and business and leadership, as was mentioned in the introduction. I'm here to tell you a bit about the student life. So starting with student clubs, very important. It's important to mention that they vary a lot across the campuses. So for example, there's usually a prominent surf club in Lisbon, which you can imagine is quite difficult to carry on in Paris and Berlin, but you may enjoy it while you're there. We have a paddle club as well. And of course, if you're less sporty and more into debate, for example, or Model UN, there's something for you as well. We have some cozy hobbies clubs like baking, knitting, movie club, anything that you're into. Also, you can create a club. So if you arrive at Forward and you find that your main passion is underrepresented, it is quite easy to found a club. And if you put enough effort into it, it's something really great for your CV. So it's quite nice that Forward backs you up on that. And yeah, in Paris, it gets a lot easier. You can join the Diplomatic Society here at CTU. I'm part of it, and we visited 5 embassies so far. Portugal, Netherlands, Austria, Croatia, the list goes on. We've also met with the defense minister and so on. So a lot of good opportunities, especially for politics students. But finance society if you're into that as well. As for events, there's quite a yearly rotation. So you always start with induction. This is especially prominent in Lisbon, as Eduardo mentioned, and you really get to know everyone. But when you move to Lisbon and Berlin, there's also a dedicated week. This is mostly for you to get to know the city. They kind of push you. The first week we were here, we went to the Louvre, kick it off on the right foot. So you always have the induction weeks. Get to know your fellows as well, because they change every year, your professors. We also have what we call the Forward Ball. So this is quite I'd say middle of the year celebration. Some winter celebrations as well. Well-being week, you can count on meditation seminars, sip and paint, maybe emotional support animal coming to visit. The birthday celebrations every single month, free cake for everyone. And yeah, celebrating everyone who had their birthday that month. It's quite lovely. And to end out the yearly cycle, as I mentioned, the end of year celebration, Forward usually makes it a big deal to pick a really cool place. In Lisbon, we went back to, I believe it was the same beach as induction, so quite a full circle moment. And yeah, they always have a cool activity planned. I think for the end of year celebration, we laid on the grass and spelled Forward. So sorry on the stand. Yeah, so that's quite nice. And then as Spencer mentioned, in Berlin, you have events every single week. So I don't think you'll have enough of that. And guest speakers, of course. I think this is a big part of Forward. When I speak about Forward to potential employers or anyone I want to impress a little bit, I always mention that yes, I'm getting a really good education from the University of London as well. Um, but I hear from top experts on multiple industries almost every week if you do an average. So that's quite nice. And also if you're someone who has picked a bachelor's but you really want to explore other areas, I go to all the finance and economic talks, even though I'm a politics student. So that's quite a good opportunity if you want to get to know other areas and also might be quite instrumental for your career to meet these people. So yeah, I'd say that's a big plus. And if you want to bring someone in, you can always reach out to them. I did this a couple times, and then Forward staff will help you organize it and get them to campus. But yeah, that's all with me, and feel free to ask questions.
Thank you very much, Madalena. And I suppose Catherine will tell us a little bit about student
Yes.
outcomes after Forward College.
Yes, I actually have two hats at Forward College. I do campus management, but I'm also in charge of the Career Development Center. So I work a lot with the students on their professional goals, where do they want to go next, coaching and helping them with how to progress towards these different goals. So I've been in touch with a lot of the students about what they do afterwards over the years, work a lot with the alumni as well. So it changes a little bit from year to year, but we could say approximately 50-50 splits. About half the students are going straight into master's programs, and about half are going to go on to some sort of a professional experience. A lot of them do plan to continue their master's afterwards, but they want to kind of get that first experience to make sure that they go into the master's that fits them best, that they're making the right choice, in few cases to make a little bit of money before they go and start spending it as well. But we do have a lot of really impressive outcomes. So on the right side of the screen, the top half are the professional experiences that some of our past students, alumni have gone on to. In some cases, they're still there, and actually all of them, they are still at these locations. So some big companies, we also have some students that did their internship in a company, for example, Amazon, and it has resulted in a direct job offer that they're going to take up. As far as the outcomes for the masters, again, very impressive and very international. It does tend to focus a bit more on European universities, but you do see also there are some students that are going to targeting the US. We also have some students doing an international program. We have one who's doing a dual program that has 1 year in Europe and 1 year in China. So there's this feel of international does continue to go on afterwards as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. This has been great. It's really a pleasure to listen to our campus managers talk about their favorite cities and their beloved campuses that they look after every day. Now, before we get to your questions very soon, I will very briefly touch upon academic requirements, just in case, having heard everything that you did today, you can envision yourself embarking on this journey with us. So indeed, I work as an admissions officer, and you can ask me any detailed questions that you may have. But broadly, I would encourage you to check our website for national requirements from your national system if you're graduating from one, and the international systems are listed on this slide. Now, how to go about sending an application. I'm so sorry. Sending an application to Forward College. You do it through our website. So the first step is simply creating a profile and pressing submit application or start application. And the documents that you would be submitting are academic transcripts for the past 2 terms of high school, or your final grades if you have already graduated. An English proficiency certificate. We accept a variety. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, and the CAE, Cambridge Advanced English Test. And as another part of your application form, you would find yourself writing 2 essays as well. In one, you describe your extracurricular activities to us, things that you've been up to outside of school, your hobbies, how you develop yourself, your personality, your resilience, things that show your drive. And then in the second essay, you would go into a little bit more depth, a little more reflection, how they have made you into the person that you are today, and how they link, how those interests outside of school or within school even can be linked to your application, to your interest in the program that you are applying for. Now, based on this application, your grades and your reflective essay, we will invite you to an interview. And in that interview, you will meet with one of our admissions officers from Forward, or even our founder, and you'll get to discuss with them if you feel ready for the journey that you're about to embark on. And the interview is about finding out if your personality is the right fit, if you need any support. And it's the final step also for reviewing that your motivation and your drive are in the right place. And then the answers usually come within a week of the process being completed. We are currently in our fourth and final wave of applications, which is ending with the end of May. So I really encourage you to start applying if you intend to join us for the September cohort of this year, because our spots are filling up fast, which is a very exciting process as well. I have witnessed plenty of applicants through interviews and through reading their applications, and we are really in the process of creating a wonderful next cohort. So I encourage you to find out more, get in touch with us. Thank you very much. And now let's get to questions. If you'd like to find out more about anything at all, please put your questions in the chat. We have one already. Vivi from Finland. Hi. Okay. So our tuition fees depend on whether you have an EU nationality, for one, as well as the degree or program that you're applying for. We have different tuition fees for our University of London programs and for Forward's own programs. But generally, if you have a Finnish citizenship, they're going to start from 20,000 per year. And then living and accommodation costs go on top of that, 20,000 euros. And how do students, do we offer scholarships and financial aid? Yes, we do. Yes, we do offer scholarships based on both merit and your financial need. There's a lot about that on the website. We offer up to 100% coverage of all 3 years of your university if you need that. When you submit an application, you are also prompted to check a box that asks you if you need financial aid from us. And if you do so, you will be sent a form to fill out together with your parents to explain your financial situation in detail. We take our applicants really on a case-by-case basis and open a conversation with you about your needs and how we can facilitate them best. Maybe Madalena can talk about how students usually manage finances during the year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Forward does offer student jobs, so that's part of it. It won't cover all your finances, but definitely for groceries or any of those small costs like going out for dinner and stuff like this, that'll help. I wouldn't rely on it. Depending on your program, you can get a part-time job, which is 15 hours a week. I would say this is the absolute maximum I would recommend you getting alongside a single bachelor's. If you're doing double, would not recommend. But a lot of students have, babysitting jobs. They pay really well in Paris, especially. Often a lot of people want to learn your language. So for example, if you're from Germany and you're living in Paris, you might teach German or babysit in a German household where they want their kids to keep up the German. This is a very common way that students get these jobs. It's also quite flexible, but I mean everyone has all kinds of little jobs on the side. I would also say we get really good at minimizing costs. So this is a skill that if you don't already have, you will develop. And then I think everyone has each other's back, and we find like a really cheap restaurant, and then we share it in the group, or we find a free show you can go to, and we share it in the group. Different things like this. And in Lisbon, for example, when you have the shared kitchens, which is a possibility in Paris, but not in every dorm, we used to cook a lot together instead of all going out for dinner and things like this. So there are definitely ways that you can have a lot of fun and minimize costs. And then of course the jobs I mentioned are a big are a very popular thing for students to get. So I'd say those two things.
Thank you. And would you like to comment on which city was your favorite throughout the two that you've been to so far?
I haven't been to Berlin indeed, so I won't comment on that. Very excited though. I am from Lisbon, so I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this. I'll say Paris for now because it was my first time living alone abroad, and it is challenging, but I think you like month to month, not even at the end of the year, but month to month see improvements in yourself. And of course, that's a big part of the forward experience is that you're learning in the classroom, but outside of it. Otherwise, we would just all go to London for 3 years, I guess. Um, so yeah, you definitely notice such an improvement, especially maybe in languages as well. If you're learning French, you'll see an improvement month to month. So yeah, I would say Paris for now.
So someone is asking which transcripts to submit if you are applying before when you have 1 year left of high school still. Well, so that is definitely an early application, and I'm great to hear that you're thinking so far ahead. Indeed, you can already submit your transcript for your penultimate year of high school, so the one that you are just now about to complete, and then possibly your predicted grades for your final year will be helpful for us to assess the application as well, if you can acquire those at all. Yes, maybe Juliana could help with pinning the application website to the chat. Thank you. Would we have classes regularly throughout the day, like in high school, or is it more like other universities with more free time to work, etc.? I believe it's the latter. Could we hear from Madalena?
Yeah, of course. I'd say answer for the single bachelor. Maybe it's better for everyone. You would have about 4 classes. So as you can tell, like Monday to Friday, you wouldn't even have a class to fill every day. With the double bachelors, you would have 6. This can change for the open bachelor, but it's around these numbers. You will usually have a free day, so I don't have classes on Friday. And usually maximum you'll have 2 classes a day of 2 hours, so 4 hours of class, which still leaves you with half the day free. But a lot of days you'll have 2 hours of class and that's it. So forward is very much around the individual learning before coming to class model. So there's a lot of work that you need to do either by yourself or in a team, but outside of class. And of course, you need quite a bit of time to do this. So wouldn't be fair to take up your whole day with class. You also have a lot of meetings, especially if you're doing one of the Bachelor Plus or Double Bachelor programs. You're meeting with stakeholders, different companies, maybe website designers, with your team, with your mentor. So you have so many meetings to go to that, of course, you need maybe a free day sometimes helps quite a bit. But yeah, very focused on you taking yourself in charge and not always being in class.
Definitely, I feel the same way. There were quite a few gaps for me in between classes throughout my 3 years as well. Just like Madalena, I did the double bachelor program with economics and politics from the NSC, and the business and leadership bachelor, and indeed independent study time is allocated all throughout the week in between classes. So it is not like a block of classes from morning till afternoon as it is in high school. It's very different from that. And And then Ingrid from Norway, who's joining us in September, which I'm very happy about, is asking about packing. How much luggage is usual to bring, and if we have any tips on specific items that were especially useful. Madalena, would you like to help me? Because it was a while back for me.
I have a very specific tip for Norwegians actually, so it might it might be even more helpful. I have a lot of Norwegian friends in this year, and they all brought Norwegian chocolate with them to Lisbon, and they all brought enough for a month, but they went home on winter break, so 3 months into it. So I'd say my advice is to bring, if you like Norwegian chocolate, to bring enough until Christmas break when you can go back home and stock up. This was a big deal last year, so I would give this tip first of all. I would say any lighting. It depends if you're going to Shior. I'd say this is the main thing. Then I can give you quite specific tips, but um, a nice lamp, like reading lights, that's super nice. But of course, you can get it there. Um, and don't pack too many sweaters for Lisbon. It's a waste of your luggage space.
Fair enough. And now for the final one, if having a small cohort makes a difference. Well, so I was part of the first cohort of Forward College, and our cohort was actually 25 students in size only. It definitely made a difference. But now our cohorts are a little bit larger than that. I believe Madalena's might be about 100 students in size, the
75.
newest one.
Yeah. Um, I'd say I think I get a lot of student conversations as an ambassador, and everyone's worried like, are you sick of these people? Because it's 3 years, it's not that many people. Um, I would say the small cohort is probably one of my favorite aspects of Forward. I would even put it like tied with the 3 years, 3 countries, which is a bold claim, but I think the fact that you know everyone and you have such strong ties, I can safely say that I have a friend in at least half the countries in Europe, and a few outside as well. So think this is something that you don't really get with larger universities. So visiting my friends in universities with 20,000 or more students, they tend to have actually a smaller fr friend group. So they tend to have like 10 people that they're close to. But I think because the cohort is small, you end up getting along really well, well, at least half of it. So you end up having like 45 people that you're quite like you know them, you know where they're from, you know their aspirations, what they're studying, and hopefully a bit more than that. But you see them quite regularly, which is the strongest network you're gonna build, at least until you start seriously working. So it's people you can rely upon. It's people that understand this experience, which is quite unique when you go to Forward. And if you speak with other university students, they won't relate as well, even though it is a university experience. But these specific people, not a lot of them, but these specific people, they know what you're experiencing because they're the only people in the world that are experiencing the same thing. So I'd say a small cohort is a huge advantage in terms of long-term network, deep friendships, and also security. When you're moving cities, everything's different, language is different. These people are there and these people are the same, and they're your network, they're your support system. So I'd say it's the way Forward is structured, it needs a small cohort system along with it. And I wouldn't be worried about being sick of them because they're usually really great.
Thank you so much. You're so great at talking about Forward. So I don't see any more questions in the chat. I suppose if any other questions come up in the future, on the screen you can see a list of emails and contacts that you can reach out to at any point. Here are my colleagues in admissions and in recruitment. Especially, I would encourage you to use the email info@forwardcollege.eu. This is for general information, but for anything more specific about admissions, then of course, email either of us. And thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that we're going to welcome some of you in Forward next year or the year after that.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, I suppose we should probably leave as well.